We welcome you to the LMS show, and we have a good time and everything like that. We're gonna get a little serious for a couple of minutes, and this is people's future right here. If you're retiring, or you plan to retire, or you want, raise a family with that little nest egg, we have a young lady who's gonna talk about that today. What is your name, my friend?
Tisha Hart.
Give Tisha Hart a big hand, everybody.
My name is Tisha Hart. I'm an independent investment advisor. And what I do independently is go around to door to door to the average and ordinary person and help them to make a mathematical and demonstrative difference in their life to, work towards achieving some financial freedom and some wealth. And we do that first by putting together a game plan called the Financial Needs Analysis.
What's that game plan?
It's called the Financial Needs Analysis. It's free, it's complimentary, free, customized, and it's confidential. It is pretty much like a GPS, a roadmap to accomplish all your goals and dreams.
We're not advertising, folks.
No, we're not advertising. However, 95% of people fail when it comes to their finances.
Why they fail?
They fail because they have no financial roadmap. We don't inherit financial education, and we don't have a financial coach.
I sit back and listen like they run on the air these finance shows, and sometimes I pick up a little hints from them.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people don't listen to them on Saturday morning. They're usually doing something else, or they did something the night before. They don't listen to these shows.
They're out being a consumer. That's what they're doing. They're out being a consumer instead of being conservative about their money or taking their money and pretty much throwing it into their future. Because at the end of the day, you can't take a piece of paper to the grocery store and buy groceries. You need cash. And that's what we teach people how to do, how to leverage their money so that they can have something at the end of the day. And we do that first by, let me say this, a lot of people start with putting their financial plan in order by starting with their roof, which is not their foundation. So you cannot start with your goals and dreams. You have to start with a very basic foundation. That basic foundation is putting in some protection for your family members, those people who love you.
What kind of protection?
So what I normally do is start out with putting in a term life insurance policy. I make sure I put together their budget.
What's a term life insurance policy?
A term life insurance policy is pure protection where there's no savings option in it. Whole life, more or less, is 3 times more than term policies. And so what I do is I actually give them a term policy, and at the end of the day, I take that additional money, which if they would have put it in whole life, say your whole life policy would be this big as far as your premium, your term policy would be this small. So I take this term, put it in place, and take the rest and invest it for them. At the end of the day, my clients wind up with a few $100,000, almost $500,000.
Interesting.
So I put together IRAs, I roll over 401ks, and we
what's an IRA account?
Individual retirement account. Now, everybody does plan to retire, even though you may say, I'm not going to retire from this job. But at some point, you do plan to retire, and it's better that you start early, because the earlier you start, the earlier you will finish, and the more you'll have at the end of the day.
What's the term? How long does a term insurance last?
Well, term insurance is for a term. Term insurance is to make sure that you actually have 3 or 4 times more cash than the value of your policy. That's what's supposed to happen. So term can be 20-year, 30-year, 40-year term.
Term also too apply to when you go to the great beyond too, like you have something for your family, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. What I normally tell my clients is, what would you like your last love letter to read? First of all, 77 billion people in the United States do not have life insurance coverage, and 68 billion are underinsured. So what I normally sit and tell my clients, what would you like your last love letter to read? Would you like your last love letter to read that I loved you so much that I made sure that you were taken care of in the event of an untimely passing? Or would you like your last love letter to read, and we know plenty of our friends and family members have had this same love letter, is, you know what, I'm leaving you destitute, in despair, with nothing, scrimping and saving to put together my final remains.
We have had instances where people actually pass the hat around.
Yes.
They pass it, and I wanted to, well, what were you doing during all this time?
Exactly. Being a consumer. In this day and age, that is purely unacceptable. We're in 2014. This is not, 1902, where we don't have access to information, education, and financial education as well. We have access to all that stuff, and there's one company out there that's offering that access door to door to people for free.
Right. Okay. Also, too, what's a Roth IRA?
A Roth IRA is very similar to a regular IRA. William Roth, which was a congressman, came up with the Roth IRA in the mid-90s. The Roth IRA, you can actually put your retirement money in your Roth IRA, and it grows tax deferred.
That means tax.
So I should say tax free.
Tax free, because you don't have to pay anything.
You don't have to pay taxes, because the money that you're putting in there now is actually is taxed. So you're putting your already taxed dollars in there. I mean, it's a great investment vehicle.
But most people they don't save for most of them don't save. They think that it's going to rule forever, and they a lot of young people think they're going to be young forever.
Well, guess what? I attended this prestigious college downtown in New York, and one of my professors said, no one is getting out of this life alive.
That's true.
Okay? No one is getting out of this life alive. So I think that we would all be better off, just like many other, that can all be better off.
We're going to talk about that in 1 minute, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Wow, that discussion is it got too hot to handle here, huh?
Pretty much.
What would you say to a person to what a mutual? We gonna bring back another day, because you does she give out a lot of information?
Yes.
Give her a big hand.
Yes.
Thank you.
Maybe some of the athletes or some of the entertainers should be learning something from this young lady, so they don't be squandering their money. And the regular people out here in the street. Mutual funds. Without playing the stock market, tell me about mutual funds.
Well, mutual fund is actually a basket of securities. If you think about it like this, say you buy the LMS stock, right? Lenny Matthews show, he has a stock, so you buy the LMS stock and you put, some shares in 100, get your 100 shares of LMS stock. But say you buy, LMS mutual fund, and LMS mutual fund have over 100 mutual funds in there, including his fund. So if the one fund goes down over here on this end, and it goes down over here on this end, you still have 99 funds that are sustaining your market and sustaining your principal of what you've invested. So that's the difference between mutual funds and stock.
Is mutual stock or mutual
funds, yes.
Are they inexpensive?
Mutual funds are extremely inexpensive. There's dollar cost averaging when it comes to mutual funds. And at the end of the day, we have something called the rule of money, which is the rule of 72. And mutual funds pretty much play into the rule of 72 when it comes to leveraging your money and making money while you're sleeping. Because believe it or not, while you're sleeping and you have money in a mutual fund, the other side of the world is trading, and there's still activity going on the other side of the world. So you wake up and you may be, $100 or $200 richer than you went to sleep. Now, if you kept investing in that mutual fund over a particular time period, sometimes instead of being $100 or $200, maybe it's $1,000 or $2,000, and it'll get to $10,000 to $20,000. But you definitely have to start early and be in it to really understand the long-term benefits, because it will make a mathematical and demonstrative difference in your life. And do you mind if I mention one thing?
Yes.
A lot of folks don't know. I look at a lot of that we need to start saving for our children. Okay, and our children have these birthday parties and all kinds of stuff like that. You get money, you go out, you buy them some toys or whatever the case may be. We have these baby showers and we spend $1,000 on a carriage. Do you know that $1,000 invested when the baby is 1 year old is $1.5 million by the time that, at a 10% rate of return, by the time that child reaches the age of 48?
Wow. Baby carriage that run me down in the train station?
Yes.
What they doing?
Exactly. $1,000 on a baby carriage. And a lot of other folks don't even, they start thinking about, well, I can't afford insurance, I can't afford the protection that I need for my family, but they can afford 2 iPads.
sneakers, waiting to go to the Hall of Fame to get a pair of sneakers that made a sweatshop overseas someplace, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's what we do is we educate, equip, and empower people to make smarter choices with their money. We do not inherit a financial education, and it's about time that we get out there and start to educate our folks and help them put together a financial game plan so that we can kind of change the face, of our future wealth.
Dr. King mentioned, and everybody talk about, I've been to the mountaintop and all this, but he talked about economics, and I believe that I'll give you a quick example. I went to a friend, a gentleman in the neighborhood. He said, he want a couple of bucks. I said, come on, go run in the store, and the guy in the store talked so bad at him, and I left the store. I said, well, here, you might say, well, I said, but does he talk like that to you all the time? He said, yeah. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I ain't going to his store. And I, if I could be the only one, I'd boycott the store. I'm sorry, because if you treat me wrong, you ain't getting my money.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
And not only with them little stores on the corner, or big chains, or I don't care. The people say, oh, it don't make too much difference. It make a heck of a lot of difference. And don't let me get the word out, because I'll get the word out and sit back in and tell you, don't go to that particular place. And everybody don't go there. And in one particular place, it was a chain. And I told people, I said, how I got treated in one particular place. And they told me, they said, well, we ain't going there no more. We checking out.
Well, we have a lot of these food chains in our communities, and we may try to organize something in the community. You go in for a donation, and they send you right out the door with nothing. And we can't continue to have these food chains in our community, and they can't even donate to our causes. That's very important, and a lot of people don't understand. Oh, well, I go in there, I only spend a quarter. I went in there, I only spend exactly. We continue to nickel and dime ourselves because those quarters, nickels, and dimes add up.
And on that note, you interesting. I saw you, at CNS, and you have an interesting background. You worked for a big company one time, right?
Absolutely. I was a vice president for Smith Barney, and from Smith Barney I went to Merrill Lynch. I've done 21 years in the financial services industry. I single-handedly identified at one of those companies the fall of the CDO market, which is the collateralized debt obligation market. So I'm very, very heavy with product knowledge when it comes to the markets. And one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing now is I did this little hiatus in Africa, and while I was away in Africa, I kept hearing this old Negro spiritual that my grandmother used to sing, and it's made the work I've done speak for me. And so I came back and decided that, what am I doing in life that's speaking for me? Here I am working for this huge major conglomerate organization, helping people of a different persuasion, maintain their wealth. But it's not changing anything in my life or my community. So I left that organization and decided to go out there and take the same platform that they give to the wealthy and offer it to our people.
Give her a big hand. We're talking about economics. We ain't talking about civil rights and marches and demonstrations and all that kind of crazy shit. I have nothing against that. But economics. We're talking, we laugh and joke and bring singers and everything like that. I can get plenty of singers and plenty of everybody else too. But we have to get our financial house in order.
Absolutely.
Because even, you can sit back there, you can sit back there, I can sit on the park bench and say, yo baby, but I know I'm getting somebody coming in.
Yes. So, I am fully licensed and registered with the Securities Exchange Commission, FINRA, as well as I'm also licensed with the state. So I'm licensed by the state and the feds, and I maintain my licenses active, and they are blemish free.
Give her a big hand. We would like for you to come back at a later date. Would it be all right?
Absolutely. I'd love to come back and, share the information, because we do want to educate the community on, their current economic situation, and if they're in a bind, to pretty much show them and give them a roadmap and a game plan to help them see their way out.